All right, welcome everyone. Today's video is going to be a little bit different format. Mainly going to be talking, and I'll show clips of the performance that I'm speaking of. So today's video is going to be the 2022 Aldebaran BFS, new reel that came out from Shimano. And then it's going to be going head to head to the Alphas AIR TW. It's a little bit different because this one is painted. I also dropped it in the water, which put my testing a little bit premature, but I got enough information. I think I could draw some pretty good conclusions, at least for myself. So if you want to see more BFS videos, make sure you subscribe. Also comment down below what future BFS videos you want to see. All right, so to start off with, I'm going to kind of say all the tackle that was used during this video, just for comparison's sake. So I did the Aldebaran BFS first because I already had the line and rod, everything rigged up from the last video. So the rod is the Jackson Kawasami Rhapsody. It's a 4'7" light powered rod. It's rated up to 8 grams for lure, and it's rated up to 6 pound for line. So it's around the mid weight for like your stream BFS rods. A little bit stiffer than I usually use. The line, this is 5-pound Varivis. It's monofilament. It's the Twitchmaster. It's in their Super Trout Advanced series. All right, so the lures I used was the Jackson Light Magic. It's kind of the square bill crankbait, but it's a little bit more trout tuned. And then I used the Duo Ryuki Spearhead 38S, a little bit lighter sinking minnow style bait. The Kana 48S, and then also a Daiwa Lupin spoon, 1.8 grams. So it's pretty good all around for trout fishing. I did not use any spinners, but I think it would cast similar to like the spoon, for example. All right. I will say right off the bat, Aldebaran casts flatter, which can help getting underneath different obstacles and such. I found that the speed of the spool, it does still have control, but the Alphas, it was a little bit easier to get a softer presentation just because there's a little bit more braking on the back end of the cast. Same was true with pitching. I felt that pitching was good with both of them, especially on the middle weights and like say this heavier weight with this Kana. Lightweight went to the Aldebaran. I felt that the Aldebaran the brakes were more adaptable. Once I set it up with any lure, it didn't matter what lure, and it only took a very little adjustment. I could pitch short range, long range. I could cast short range, long range, everything in between, backhand, forehand, without touching the brake dial. There's very minimal brake dial touching I did have to do with the Alphas. It's a little bit easier because one, the knob moves a lot easier, but also the clicks, which you don't get as much control over your braking than the Aldebaran, because the Aldebaran there's no click, so you can position that wherever you want. But the clicking is easy enough to do with the Alphas, and there's only one click. I never had to go more than one click with the same lure. So it's very minor, but it's just something to keep track of. Something else I should say, clicking drag system, big fan of that. This one has one added from Sagisi Customs. I mean, it sounds really nice and smooth and refined. And this one, it's a little bit louder, a little bit more tactile feedback. So I do like the Sagisi Customs drag clicker better, but the Alphas doesn't come with one, so that's definitely big for my consideration. Let's see. I would say areas that the Alpha shines, pitching control, especially like for a soft lure presentation, and also getting underneath branches, I felt was a little bit better with the Alphas, just because it does, for relative term, hang up a little bit on the back end, which can kind of keep your lure floating at the end of that pitch, versus the Alphas is more flat. I mean, the Aldebaran is a little bit more flat, and yeah, that's right there. I do feel, so when talking about pitching, it's consistently easier to have a soft presentation with the Alphas, at least just for me. It's not going so flat that I don't have time to react to it, or the brakes aren't helping. Yeah, that's right underneath that every time. But also, let's say if you have some, whether it's bass or trout hiding in those areas, those shaded areas, the softer presentation of the Alphas is going to spook less fish. So that's, if you do a lot of that type of fishing, maybe look into the Alphas, or the Daiwa Silver Creek is similar performance in that regard with a fixed inductor, but also has a clicking drag as well. So if you want the clicking drag and you mainly fish streams, maybe look at the Silver Creek for that. And one thing I can tell too is the backlashes go a lot deeper with the Alphas. I got a couple, like whenever I would backlash with the Aldebaran, even in my initial testing video, they weren't bad. They're just a few loops. Like that one, I had to basically get all the way to the end of the spool, and I'm on break setting 2, so maybe I'll kick it up to 3. But yeah, it's not as flat. It's flat. It's definitely one of the better stock spools for stream fishing, but it's definitely not. It's just not like it's not like the Aldebaran. As far as all-around versatility, I can't speak on that yet. I did not get the Aldebaran out bass fishing yet, but it does seem pretty nice, even casting these heavier trout minnows. So I don't think there's gonna be much issue. So they're both versatile reels. They're not highly specialized like the Gekabesian or the Silver Creek. All right, so overall, I mean, the Aldebaran would probably be my pick. It's a little bit faster, but I do like the spool. I like how you don't have to touch the brakes. Once you get it set with the lure, and it's very easy to get it set with the lure, it's set it and forget it. You can pitch, cast, do whatever. This retrieve's been really smooth. One thing I should mention is my Alphas. I dropped it when I was stream fishing last fall, and I kept fishing with it afterward. I had a bunch of sand and stuff in there, so I definitely messed my gears up. So that retrieve is going to be a little bit rough. So I'm not going to compare retrieves. I'd say that the Aldebaran, comparing out of the box, from out of memory, Aldebaran's retrieve is definitely nice. The Alphas was good too, so I wouldn't judge just solely off the retrieve for whatever reel that you choose. Palmability, I actually, that brake dial that everybody talks about, it's not an issue. I didn't even notice it. And I'm not wearing gloves or anything. If I had it in the back of my mind, oh yeah, I'd probably feel it. But today going out, I didn't even think about it till just now. But they both palm very well. I think the Alphas might, for my hands, slightly better, but it's not enough to pick one reel over the other. Aldebaran's lighter weight. It's not a huge difference. I'll have the weights and everything down below. The spool cutout too, like you saw in my first video, that's pretty ingenious design. The spool weight as well. It's about 6.6 grams for the Aldebaran, and it's like 8.5 grams for the Alphas. So overall, I definitely, given how if the prices stay the same how they are, I'd pick up the Aldebaran. It's nice. I could tell you that it's nice, but the only thing that really the Alphas did was pitching. Pitching was the only thing that the Alphas really proved it was better at. And like I said, I'm splitting hairs here. You're not going to have a bad reel either way you go. Spool options, almost forgot that. Get more spool options with the Alphas. It's your typical Daiwa. It's a lot easier to get aftermarket spools than the Aldebaran. You might get like a Vail might make a spool eventually, but so that's something too. If you want like a open water reel and a stream reel all in one, you can just get a Roro AX24 spool, which is my favorite stream spool. Put that in here, and you can have 2 different types of line on there, and you can cover a lot more bases. So that's also a consideration for the Alphas, but just individually, reel side by side, I'd go with the Aldebaran for sure. So if you want to see more conclusions or some more comparisons with the with the Aldebaran BFS, make sure you subscribe. Also comment down below what you want to see.